So, your grid for the first of 4 Ginimax races this weekend here at the B&L Karting Series 2019 finale at the home of champions. It's Milan Koppens and Jules Castro making it a Belgian front row. Ollie Pilker and Oscar Christensen. That's Poland and Denmark represented on row number 2. Then it's an all Dutch 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 with Tom Reinerts, Danny van Dijk, Chris Hanen, Jeffrey Fixer and Mike van Vugt, with Kai Rilletz from Belgium rounding out the top 10. Then we have Margot Bonvoisin from France and Matthew Higgins in the 275 rounding out the top 6 rows. Jeff Machiels and Christian de Klein. Oh, we've got one already off the track, and that looks to be the 281 of Jano Zotfi. So there's going to be a position on row number 13 that is not going to be occupied. So it's a real shame for Jano Zotfi. So Tom Adams and Vilgot Edquist will be behind Jeff Machiels and Christian de Klein. Sam Bergstein and Bruno Molders and Lars Zanen and Dirk Janssen round out the top 20. Callum Voisin will have Belgium's Tom Breken, a former B&L Karting Series champion in his own right, alongside on row 11 with the number 298 of Spencer Schinner with Nikita Genser from Germany alongside. Summer Webb would have had Jano Zotfi alongside, but Zotfi not running any further in this race. George Baters and Flint Schuring, that's 27th and 28th. Ahead of Georgios Kalifatidis and Bart de Wit, that's the top 30 completed. Ahead of Wout Kerstjens, Daniel Sorankov, Max Knappen, Jules van Huel and Dan Ginchard from the United Kingdom. Looks like Jano Zotfi has got back underway and is circulating, but will have to probably end up at the back part of the grid, having stopped on the formation, on the sighting lap before the formation lap. So now it is down to Koppens and Castro. So it's Bouvin Power versus GKS Lemons. Oh, we got another kart pulling off to the side there. Off of, that's on the exit of turn 9, down into the short blast towards turn 10. So another driver having problems before we've even got this race underway. 11 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap, and the red lights are on the starting gantry. So it is Koppens, Castro, Pilker, Christensen, Reinerts, Van Dijk, Hanen, Fixer, Van Vugt and Rilletz. That's the top 10. So we'll wait for them to get into as Jano Zotfi joins the back part of the field and is going to be a bit late to the party, as do we go. Lights out. Yes, we're off and away, heading into turn number 1 as Castro gets swallowed up by Pilker, and round the outside looks to be Danny van Dijk from JJ Racing. Oh, some are going rally crossing a little bit further down the order, and I'm keeping my eye on who that was. Looks to be a CRG chassis. Might have been, I'm not too sure who that might have been, but someone definitely did a Matthias Ekstrom going around the outside of turn 2, as someone else is also doing a bit of grass cutting going between turns 3 and 4, as Milan Koppens now down into 4th, make that 5th, maybe make that 7th position, 6th position, as Van Vugt and Van Dijk were side by side through turn 9. Ollie Pilker, in the meantime, is leading the race. And so Ollie Pilker from Poland, looks to be Ralf Schumacher chassis there, has got the 237 of Tom Reinerts behind, and keeping my eye on who is behind them, looks to be Jules Castro. So it's Pilker, Reinerts, Castro, and then it's Van Vugt, Van Dijk, Chris Hanen, Vilgot Edquist. Milan Koppens has dropped all the way down. It's probably going to be by the top end of the top, lower part of the top 10. As Oscar Christensen clearly getting stuck in. Matthew Higgins is having a ding-dong battle side by side, going through turns 4 and 5. The young Welsh driver was trying to do his best as Jules Castro up the inside of Tom Reinerts, it looks like, for second position through turn 7. Nice work from the 206 from Belgium to go past the Dutch driver. But now I've got to keep my eyes well and truly pinned to the timing screen as well as outside. Because there has been so many positional changes throughout the field. I'm keeping my eye on certain particular drivers. Dan Ginchard is going to be one of them, because he normally surges his way through the field. As looks like Danny van Dijk's just been passed by. We've got Vilgot Edquist, who's a bit further up the road, and he's 5th behind Mike van Vugt. Then it's Chris Hanen, Danny van Dijk, Milan Koppens just behind the 2 Dutch drivers in round about 8th position. Jeffrey Fixer 9th. And Oscar Christensen is just ahead of Matthew Higgins in the 275. Lars Zen and Bruno Molders and Kai Rielets with the Margot Bonvoisin running at the top 15. So the top 15 will score points. It's 25 for a win, 16 for second, 13 for third. And it all goes down to 1 point if you secure 15th at the flag. So Pilker's not in the lead now. He's been usurped as the youngster from Poland. And that is Jules Castro leading. So Belgium leads Poland, the Netherlands, and then also the defending champion, Mike van Vugt, who is closing. Van Vugt last time around did a 57.889, but the fastest drive round on the circuit is the Swede in 5th position. That is Vilgot Edqvist, who has just been pounced on and passed by Chris Harnen from the Netherlands. So Harnen really trying to cement 3rd place in the championship at the very, very least. Because at the moment, in terms of the qualification stages for the Rotax Grand Finals, I know that Tom Reinets has qualified. Mike van Vugt has also qualified. So Chris Harnen has a perfect opportunity to climb his way to 3rd place. But Dan Ginchard is moving forward. He started 35th. He is now 21st and closing on, looks to be Drek Jansen. So could have got past the Dutch driver and got himself up into the top 20. So there's a lot of changes to happen, but at the front of the field, it is a GKS 1-2. Castro leads. Reinets now past Pilker for second. Van Vugt just puts in a 57.203, but Chris Harnen is absolutely flying. He's just gone sub 57 seconds, 56.913 from the 264 from Coles Racing. And with him, he's bringing along Vilgot Edqvist. And Edqvist was actually slower than Chris Harnen. Harnen is the only one out of the entire field that's gone sub 57 seconds. As Reinets is not letting Castro get away in terms of the battle for top honours, as in the victory. So Castro leading from Reinets. And now it's a train of 6 at the front with Castro, Reinets, Pilker, Van Vugt, as Pilker goes up the inside of Reinets to take 2nd position from the Dutch driver. Nice work there from the 210. And now Chris Harnen is sizing up Mike van Vugt for a move for 4th place and makes it stick. That's a great job from the Dutch driver from Coles Racing, who's also been dovetailing with the dual campaign in the IAMI category of the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. But Van Vugt tries to go up the inside of his former teammate and makes the move stick just by the fraction of the paint on the chrome on the back bumper. So Van Vugt now up into 4th. Vilgot Edqvist is going to try and size up Harnen for a move and gets past the Dutchman for 5th. Now Milan Coppens is there, as is Danny Van Dijk. All this is getting very dicey between Harnen and Edqvist, and the pair nearly collect each other, and they allow Coppens and Van Dijk to get past. That's a real shame for the pair. Couldn't really see what happened. Dan Ginchard now into the top 20 is ahead of fellow Brit Spencer Shinner in the 298. So Ginchard has just put in a 56. That's a really quick lap. His best lap of the race is a 56.866. Harnen is the quickest out of anybody, but now is dropping down the order and is down into... Well, who's that in front of him? That's Jeffrey Fixer. So Harnen now down into 8th place as a result of that contretemps between himself and looks to be Vilgot Edqvist. Now Edqvist in the meantime has gone behind Harnen. Dan Ginchard's made up 2 more places, and he's now closing up on Margot Bonvoisin from France. But Pilker now retakes the lead and is ahead. Now, who is ahead of who in the GKS squabble for 2nd and 3rd place? With Mike van Vugt clearly breathing down their neck, it is now going to be Jules Castro, who goes back up the inside of Tom Reinets to retake 2nd position. But whilst they're squabbling, Reinets just had to look over the right shoulder, and Van Vugt goes up the inside of him and Castro, but loses out, runs wide coming out of the final corner, and Castro retakes the position. And then there's that very, very characteristic... Well, that's really changed things now, because Van Vugt we had the think sort of signal from... Jules Castro. I don't think Mike van Vugt was playing a blind bit of notice and just sent it up the inside of the Belgian to get past for 2nd. Milan Coppens now going up past Castro for 3rd place and takes the position. Reinets running on the back bumper of his teammate, but then Danny Van Dijk has just really been biding his time. He's got a ringside seat. Meanwhile, Ollie Pilker's just bolted away with around 3 minutes and 50 to go, plus an additional lap. As Van Vrucht gets one thrown up the inside by not just one, not just maybe two. Look at this, it's 2 by 2, side by side, hurrah, down into turn number 10, with Mylan Coppens taking second. Mike Van Vrucht, no, Danny Van Dijk, you absolute opportunist. That was brilliantly timed. Those four were squabbling. So it was Castro, Van Vrucht, Reinitz and Coppens. They all squabbled amongst themselves, and Danny Van Dijk went, thank you very much, boys. That suited me very, very nicely indeed. And he goes up from 6th to 2nd in one corner. Absolutely one of the best moves in terms of opportunistic taking from Danny Van Dijk right there. That was brilliant stuff. But it's allowing Pilker to run away with it. He's got a lead of around 2.2 seconds ahead of now second place driver Danny Van Dijk, who in turn is also pulling away from Mylan Coppens. Mike Van Vrucht in 4th place. Looks to be Tom Heinitz is now ahead of Jules Castro for position. And that is for 5th and 6th place, as Van Vrucht was sizing up Coppens for a move there. Now, where is Dan Ginchard at the minute? He's up into 14th. He's absolutely flying up the field. Mylan Coppens in the meantime. Oh, Van Vrucht runs wide, and there we go. Reinitz and Castro. It looks like Mike Van Vrucht got a bit greedy with the curbs there, and it sort of spat him out a little bit sideways. Reinitz got through. Castro did not. So at the minute, Pilker now has a lead of 2.428 seconds ahead of Danny Van Dijk, who's being chased down, hounded down by Mylan Coppens, and the pair were around about 0.4 of a second apart. And at the minute, Dan Ginchard is just absolutely romping his way through the field. He's doing a fantastic job. He started in 35th position. He is now trying to close down on Kai Hrelitz from Belgium, who ran it out the top 10 at the beginning of the race. So Ginchard is leading the double English plate champion, Tom Adams. So Adams and Zanen ran out the top 15, but Ginchard has come from stone dead last, the back part of the field, and is now up into the top 15 and will score points. This is really going to help him, but it just depends on whether he has enough time. He's got 1.5 minutes or just under, plus an additional lap to try and close down on his nearest rival, which is Chris Harnan, and he's got Kai Hrelitz up ahead, and he's also got Oscar Christiansen. So Ginchard, if he keeps on playing the field like he is at the minute, as there is an absolute swarm, as Mylan Coppens now past Danny Van Dijk for second, Tom Heinitz has gone with, Mike Van Vrucht is having a battle of his own to contend with Jeffrey Fixer and Jules Castro. Castro's now at the back part of that three-cart squabble, which is 5th, 6th and 7th. And just behind them looks to be Chris Harnan in 8th at the minute. As just keeping my... Yep, Dan Ginchard looks like he's got past Kai Hrelitz. He's now menacing on the back bumper of Denmark's Oscar Christiansen for what is effectively 11th place. And he's going to go for it. Is the Brit going to take it? I think he is. He got up the inside of the Dane, made the move stick. That's 11th position for Dan Ginchard there. And he's saying, right, let's just work together. Work with me. 18 seconds on the clock remaining, and Pilker has just checked out. He's in Germany right now with the lead he's got. Nearly 3 seconds to his betterment. And at the moment, Mylan Coppens is ahead of Danny Van Dijk, who has got Tom Reinitz breathing down his neck and is now going past his fellow countryman for 3rd place. It's a real good move there. Very nicely timed, very neatly done. As there's another move. Looks like Castro has just lost out to Vilgot Edquist there. So it's definitely a lot of things to think about here. And has it now? I'm just keeping an eye on where Ginchard is at the moment, because now we're going to get the final lap here in this first of two. Wants to be exciting Ginny Max finals. This one hasn't disappointed at all. Pilker's lead over Mylan Coppens, 2.5 seconds. Then it's Tom Heinitz, then it's Danny Van Dijk, then it's Mike Van Vrucht, Jules Castro, Jeffrey Fixer, Chris Harnan, we've got Edquist, Jeff Mahiels, and then Dan Ginchard. And that is the top 11. Oscar Christensen, Kai Hrelitz, Tom Adams, Lars Zanen, and round out the top 15. As we're now on the final lap, leaders now coming through. Turn number 8, the right-hand sweeper. Excuse me. So Ollie Pilker really has done a great job. He waited until the opportune time to go, right, they're squabbling, I need to get away. He's done that in consummate, cool, personified fashion here. So the checkered flag is going to be brandished. He had a great weekend at the Euro Trophy season finale at Wackersdorf, and here at the season finale of the BNL Karting Series, Ollie Pilker gets the first win under his belt here at the home of champions. Mylan Coppens, starting from pole, takes second ahead of the Netherlands' very own Tom Heine. Danny van Dijk rounds out the top 4, ahead of Mike van Vrucht from the Netherlands, the current reigning and defending champion. Jules Castro would end up having to settle for 6th place at the end of that, ahead of Jeffrey Fixer. Chris Harnen still, I think, has got a nose ahead of Dan Ginchard at the moment, but Harnen finished in 8th, ahead of Jeff Michiels, with Vilgot Edqvist from Sweden rounding out the top 10. Dan Ginchard did a great job there, just kept on ploughing his way through the field, just had to get himself up the order as much as possible, finished 11th, having got past Oscar Christensen and Kai Rilletz on the last couple of laps. Tom Adams and Lars Zanen are the last of the 15-point scorers in this race, ahead of Christian de Klein. Flint Schuring, Drake Jansen, Spencer Schinner, Callum Voisin rounds out the top 20 ahead of Tom Breken, Nikita Genza, Max Knappen, Summer Webb, Bart de Wit, Sam Bergstein, Daniel Sorankov, Jano Zopfi, who regained back up to 28th ahead of Wood Kirstens, Jules Van Hoel and Georgios Kalifatidis, with Mogo Bonvoisin, Matthew Higgins, Bruno Mulders, and George Baters not making the end of the race.